But I don't think that partnering is a bad thing. Some people will have a totally different outcome.
It's got to find the right partners
or decision on that. You just got to partner right, and it is a marriage because it can go bad.
Oh yeah,
quick.
Yeah.
And it can be successful quick.
Yeah. I mean, when there's synergy in that, two people can have the power of four.
Yeah, you bet.
You know what I'm saying?
And your Rolodex doubles.
Yes.
Right. And your 6 degrees of separation goes to 2.
And your clout goes up.
I'm telling you.
You got two people that maybe are both pretty influential or whatever that, and, it's like, oh man, they're both working together.
Yeah.
We need to figure out what's going on over there.
That's right.
So
I wish that we could get AT in here as a guest.
I know, right?
And he is, he's still in Costa at the moment.
Is it? Do you have like a vice of what's his main vice that we could like seduce him with? Does he have one?
He does, and probably I don't know. We'll he'll
work on that.
He'll be back in the States here next week, and I'll see if I can twist his arm or something because he would bring a lot of value to this as well on this particular subject.
So I mean, the thing is going back to that kind of conversation too, where you need to learn from people. That's the fastest way to be successful is learn from others. That's why we started this. We can have people sit in that seat right there.
Yeah.
And teach us things that we don't already know.
Not only that, let me read one of the comments. I'll read part of this. And it was, hey, thanks to episode 5, I actually have a tiny bit of knowledge about NFT, blockchain, etc. Kyle's examples really helped. That made the whole episode worth it right there.
That's right.
So just to hear the feedback.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like we've talked about before, we don't really know what we're doing. I mean, I guess if you compare us to maybe the average Joe, but we know a little bit about a lot of stuff.
Sure.
We don't know everything about one thing. And that's where we're constantly trying to figure things out, trying to learn new things.
Which is why we started this whole thing.
Yep.
One, so we could bring a little bit of value to some people, or a lot of value to others, and we can watch ourselves grow in other deals. Before we started recording, I told you a deal we were working on today.
Yeah.
So it's like if we can bring those up a year from now or a month from now after it closes, and we can learn from that.
I would like to have episodes at some point, and let me kind of finish my first thought. I would like to have episodes where we basically go start to finish on a deal. Something that could be talked about that would kind of fit, and not necessarily a real estate deal, but like any kind of business that we start to finish. Maybe even the clothing company. Maybe we do, start to finish on that thing. Like how much capital it initially takes, how easy it is to make 100% hands-off online clothing company.
Sure.
We could kind of go through that start to finish. Maybe even some other deals or whatever down the road once some of these close or whatever. I think that'd be cool for listeners. I've listened to a lot of podcasts, seen a lot of videos, and the basics are usually talked about, but not like the nitty gritty. Like, go here, do this. This is what you do. This is what you do next. Like start to finish, I think would be pretty cool. So anyway, back to what we were saying. What do you look for in a deal? A deal that you're going to be interested in. That kind of either you search it out. Sure. I know some deals in particular that you're working on right now that is something you've been like kind of looking for.
Yeah, for a decade.
Yeah.
This one particular deal I'm working on right now, and if we can pull this off, I want to tell everybody about it. It's really exciting. And I've been looking to get in this space for probably since 2010. Right. And I'm really excited if we can all come to an agreement.
Make it happen.
What I'm looking for in deals. So being in corporate for a while, met a lot of people all across the country, and so that network will never fail me from then till I die. Yeah. Some of us become really good friends, but there are pitches that come across my email and say, hey, don't know what you're doing these days. Take a look at this. Tell me what you think. And I probably get one a month, three a quarter.
Yeah.
And out of those one a month, I can either say, hey, that's awesome. Good for you. It's not my wheelhouse, but go check with so-and-so.
Yeah.
But if there's one that I'm really interested in, I never make a decision without talking to somebody. And we'll have Tommy on as a guest at some point. But Tommy's like my go-to. Hey, what are your thoughts on this? And if it's not Tommy, it's a small circle that I really pay attention to and value their input.
Right.
Adam, Brian in Louisiana, Grant. Yeah. Like this small circle. I never make a decision by myself because I don't claim to be the smartest guy in the room either.
Yeah. Well, there's always stuff you could be missing.
No, but what I do is I take the pitch deck, I go through it as if somebody else would go through it, and I get all the answers because I know these guys so well.
Yeah.
I know the first questions
what they're going to
ask.
Yeah.
So that's my go-to, and I've learned so much from all these guys. It's very important, and I keep saying this, relationships are everything.
Yeah.
Everything. They'll always have my best interest in mind.
Yeah.
My tight circle will never let me make a bad decision.
Right.
Now, they may say it's a little risky. If you're willing to risk X amount of dollars, go for it.
Yeah.
One of Tommy's favorite sayings is, I like the deal. I'm unsure of the deal. So if you've got $100,000 to lose, go for it. That way it's zero risk to you. Yeah. But if it hits, that's a home run. Yeah. And I have to pay attention to that.
He puts it in real terms for you.
Oh, well, all my circle does. You're effing crazy.
Yeah.
But throw that in the trash.
Yeah, but just saying you're effing crazy is one thing, but it's like, oh yeah, if you got $100,000 to lose, go for it. Because that hits a little bit different.
No doubt.
Because
the
whole you're a little bit crazy thing could be, well, yeah.
I'm crazy. Yeah. We don't get this far without being a
That's
little
right.
crazy.
We're going to take some risk. But then when you start putting it in dollar terms.
That's right.
And he puts it in like, yeah, if you're willing to lose it. It's like, okay, let me think about this.
Well, that's what risk reward really is that we talked about earlier. But I go ahead and take this. I'll take pitch A. I go through all the questions that I need. I go through all the questions that I know, and I already picked out in my head who I'm going to send this to.
Right.
Which guy it fits the best.
Right.
And so I'll pick this guy and say, all right, here's the deal. Tell me what I'm missing, or give me your initial thoughts on it. And sometimes it's like, we need to explore this a little further.
Yeah.
Are you looking for a partner?
Right.
Well, yeah, actually, I am.
Yeah, and you know if they're looking for, if they're asking if you're looking for a partner, you know that
they're
it's a good. Yeah, you know that
they're in. Deal. Yeah. And so, and AT and I are in one right now. Same thing. He's like, I like it. Let's keep exploring. So I've already done the legwork, and if I can't, but one of the things I look for, the main thing is, what's the investment? What's the percentage for that investment?
Yeah.
And how fast can I get my investment back in my pocket?
So what are your standards? Like, do you have a set rule or everything's different? Let's just do real estate to kind of make it easy, and people can kind of extrapolate to every business. But like, if you're going to buy a building,
I would be a bad example. I would be a bad person to talk to because example. I like.
You buy shit that doesn't roll.
And
then you make it roll.
I make it roll.
Yeah.
Adam calls me the CEO. And it stands for Chief Equity Officer.
Yeah.
Not Chief Cash Flow Officer.
Yeah.
Right. And so Adam's all about cash flow. Brian, and most of my guys, actually all of my guys, because they figured it out. Where I'm Chief Equity Officer, I'll roll in there and buy a piece of real estate. I'll go in and rehab the building, and I'll sit back for a minute. I'll rent it out, make a little bit of money, and then somebody will want that piece of real estate.
Yeah.
And that's when I cash in.
Right.
Banks hate it. My guys hate it.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, because I know the equity will always win.
I think there's a saying out there that says, if it don't roll, say no. If it don't flow, say no.
Yeah.
If it don't flow, say no.
Yeah.
Which is tough.
That's not where I live.
Yeah. And that's a tough deal too, because the thing is, most investors in say real estate, if that property flows, or we can put on anything, a website, an app, if it flows, they know what the value of that is.
Oh, yeah.
So you're not going to really get a good deal.
Yeah.
Right. And so I get the idea. If it doesn't flow, say no.
On real estate, there's very simple equations. I mean, it is black and white.
Yeah. This
is what the cap rate is. This is what you need to pay for the building.
Yeah.
I don't live in that world.
One of the things I like to do, and for like those that are listening that aren't familiar with like what a cap rate is, it's basically how fast your capital is going to come back to you. There's a formula to figure that out. Capitalization rate is what cap rate stands for. So one of the things I like to do that's super simple, especially in real estate, is they call it the 1% rule. It's not something I made up. So I've heard people talk about it. It works really well though. Basically, you want that thing to be able to.
If I pay $100,000 for the real estate, it better rent for $1,000.
Yes,
That's it.
1%.
Yep.
It should rent. Now this is not.
That's not cap rate.
It's not cap rate. You're right, because it's not factoring
That's a
in.
rule of thumb.
It's a rule of thumb. It's like the first thing I look at, because this thing is cap rate is determining. It determines cap rate's based on if you paid 100% cash for it.
Yes, it is all dependent on cash. This is cap rate is not included.
No, because you
financing
don't know what the insurance is. You don't know what the rate is. You don't know what kind of loan rate you got. Right. There's all kinds of factors in there that could change with the cap rate. Yeah. But the 1% rule won't always get you there, but it's a good start in my opinion. If you pay $200 for it, it needs to be able to rent for $2,000 a month. Mm-hmm. That's right. A good base to go by. That's right. Now, whether you're borrowing the money, what kind of interest rate you get, what the taxes are, what the insurance is for that area, all those things are going to factor into whether that investment's still a good investment, how much money you have to put into it.
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
A good rule of thumb would be 1% rule. I like that rule.